Hey everybody, hi and welcome to my kitchen. Cindy G here, the Fibroid Alchemist, and today I wanted to come on just real quickly. I'm in the kitchen making some delicious, fun foods that's easy and simple and healing and alkaline, high vibrational, all of the things that I love to share. Let's see, and how I like to eat for healing, for high energy. And I only got a few minutes because I've got to get back to work. But I was listening to Louise Hay, one of her videos on self-love, and my goodness, I love her. Rest in power, my dear queen, mother, sister. And those of you that it's your first time coming by my channel, I want to welcome you. I want to encourage you to hit like, subscribe, because guess what? These videos are going to start coming on a much more regular basis. And because I've got so much content. If it's your first time stopping by, I want to thank you and welcome you. I shoot videos, I make content, typically for the most part around fibroid, healing the body so that fibroids can dissolve naturally. And you might often hear or see some content about fibroid healing, Fibroid Healing Academy, 21-day fibroid fix, blah, 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 blah. It's all what I do, and those are my programs. But really and truly, this is about self-love. This is not so much about healing and focusing on fibroids as it is about focusing on yourself and your whole self and healing your whole self. And when you heal your whole self, fibroids leave. They dissolve. They just like any other disease in the body, just like any other sickness. When if you catch a cold or a flu, you take care of yourself. You get some rest. You get vitamin C. You build your immune system back up, and you get healthy again. Right? The cold passes. If you get COVID and you have a strong immune system, you will bounce back very quickly. If it takes you a bit longer, you still will bounce back if you're able to build up your immune system to fight off the free radicals that cause the disease. And I'm a holistic nutritionist, also a doctoral student. I'll be a psychologist soon, so I'm already doing the psychology work. But basically, it's a really important topic that I want to share with you briefly here. And like I said, I won't be before you long. But listen, I got a question for you. And this is a direct relation to how you are showing up in the world, in relationships, in your healed body or sick body self, right? How did your parents show love to each other? How did your parents show, or if you didn't grow up with your parents, adults that were close to you, that were your direct influence, how did they show love toward one another? I guess I could tell you what I'm making, right? I'm making some squash and zucchini. I'm going to put it in my air fryer. And I've got some quinoa cooking. I got a sweet potato in the oven. And I'm going to make a kale and apple salad. I'll probably come back and do that one later. I may do it live while I'm on video. I'll see. But inside of my programs, there's all kinds of cooking video demos and recipes and shopping lists and everything you need for jump-starting that healing process. And so got this new badass new wave air fryer. So I'm going to put it to the test with some zucchini slices, some squash slices. I love vegetables. Love, love, love. And you know what? They love me too. So, how did your parents show love toward one another as you were growing up? Think back in your childhood, or again, if you weren't with your parents, if your parents weren't together or whatever, even that right there kind of tells a little bit of the story as well. You've got parents that weren't together. You got parents that were together, and it could have been tumultuous. You've got parents that died. You have grandparents raised you. And I'm splashing water all over the place. Sorry about that. But the point I'm making today is that those relationships that you experienced, that you watched growing up, have a direct impact on how you show up in relationships as an adult, and how you show up in the world, and how you treat yourself and your body, and it's directly related to fibroids. And I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna walk you through this. I'm gonna try to do it in just a few minutes. Okay, now, and I want to encourage you to, if you're a reader, if you're like me and you're always reading, you're getting knowledge through resources, then you definitely want to pick up or start to follow Dr. Is it John Lipton? Is his first name John? What is his first name? Dr. Lipton. What is his first name? I'm drawing a blank. The Biology of Belief. Anyway, that's the book. You can just look that up. And he teaches how we were programmed in the first 7 years of life. Our first 7 years of programming is what he calls a theta state, meaning there's kind of like a clean slate that we're born with, right? A clean slate of knowing, which is no knowledge. We don't know much of anything other than, wow, we want milk, we want to eat, we cry, we, poop, get bathed, and just build a bond with our parents, hopefully, at that early stage. And thank you for the light. But the deeper part of that has to do with, I'm just grabbing some seasonings here so I can get this thing going. And I like it spicy. I'm going to be using some herbs. Okay, Bragg's herbs. I'm going to be using some cayenne. I use cayenne on everything. I'm going to be using a little grapeseed oil. I'm going to use some pink Himalayan salt, some Slappy Ya Mama, and some garlic powder and a little onion powder. Okay, those are my seasonings. Now, when we think about the programming, and this is so important, y'all. This is so important. If you're a fibroid fixer, you're one of my fixers. Hey, fixers, shout out to me. Let me know where y'all are chiming in from. But listen, if you are experiencing not so successful relationships, being unhappy in your own self, developing and manifesting disease in your body, honey, the root cause has to do with your relationship with yourself. Now, I'm somebody who could swear up and down, up one way, down another, that I ain't never had no problem with self-esteem. Never, ever, ever. Baby, I did everything. I was busy. I was in sports. I played basketball. I was a cheerleader. I was in band. I ran track. I played softball. I was vice president of the class. I was popular. I was on talent shows. I was doing the absolute most growing up. And what I came to realize is, I've got some ability, some skills. I'm athletic, and I'm, pretty good entertainer. I've honed on all those skills and everything. But I come to realize, y'all, that was a direct reflection of me trying to find identity, right? Trying to find myself, not even aware of trying to find myself, but having been brought up in a culture, in a family. And I'm going to refer back to John Lipton real quick. The first 7 years of our life is when we learn how to adapt and how to be part of the community. So what that means is that you're being taught in those first 7 very critical years of life how to formulate thoughts, ideologies, concepts, strategies for life, or lack thereof. And our parents, bless their hearts, our grandparents, our aunts and uncles, they were working with what they had, what they'd been taught in their first 7 years of life, that theta state, where they're really developing who they're going to be, or how they're going to manage inside of those relationships and the culture. And that's why everything is so cultural. The way we eat is so cultural. We as Black, African American, we eat typically, for the most part, 90% of us eat a slave plate, like a plantation plate. And we get together over holidays and we eat the most food, and or get-togethers. We eat the most food and the highest level of bad fatty foods that cause all kinds of disease in the body. And I'm saying that because we eat around love. That's how we show love, through food, right? That's part of our upbringing. That's part of our tradition. That's part of our cultural heritage. The same applies when it comes to relationships. So the way, and I say, for me, I know that I'm like, well, what's going on with me in these relationships? Like, why do I feel so, like, why am I always so on the run? Like, why do I have these fears of vulnerability and really, you know, delving in and getting close and letting you know, people know how I really feel, for the fear of being hurt and abandoned and things like that? Or why do, when I do let that happen, I still end up feeling that way at the end of, Alexa, stop. Alexa's reminding me. So the issue is the way that I saw relationships growing up. The way that I saw relationships growing up caused me to have an attachment style that is fearful and avoidant. What that means is I am afraid to let you in if I like you, and I'm going to avoid going too far for fear of having stuff show up, like I saw the women in my family have stuff showing up for them with their relationship styles and their communication styles. And there was no love. There was love because they provided for each other. They stayed to death do apart. Man, and for me, watching some of this turmoil and things like that, the men were providers, you know, the women took care of the men, took care of the home, blah, 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 very traditional in a sense in that regard, and very submissive, you know, those types of common traits that we see. It's a common theme for the most part. Nothing wrong with any of that submission, nothing wrong with folks having their roles and things like that, but you know, times have changed. When we grew up, and I am a Gen Xer, right? So we grow up and we're super independent. We make our own rules to the game, and we're very innovative, and we're not bowing down. And you got women who, and myself, you know, played sports like basketball, and you're tough and rough. And so, you know, it just hadn't served me. Now I'm getting to a point here. The bigger point is that not only did it affect me, the relationship styles that I grew up watching, not only did they affect me personally, but they also showed up in my relationships with others. And that's the main point. Now, and even more, most importantly, they showed up in my own level of self-love. And so the connections, those imagery, those experiences growing up, watching lots of alcoholism, lots of fighting, lots of packing up, leaving, only to come back because you can't live alone, so you got to go back to the drama. When you experience all of that, that absolutely affects your emotional state, your psychological state, and your physical state. And so some of these things that we've experienced, even as children, ladies, my sisters, even as kids, have now later on perpetuated and perpetually caused stress, caused cortisol, caused us to develop strategies and coping skills that also equal to things like suppressing how we feel, suppressing our emotions, keeping it moving, because that's what we saw mom and them, grandmama and them, auntie and them, that's what we saw them do, and that's how they dealt with it. That's how we deal with it. Just quiet, your voice is shunned down, and now you just got to go deal with it in a very building up in your body kind of way. What we suppress now, ladies, will manifest later in life and in our body. So I'm saying all this to say we're going to have to do some deeper work to address the programming. The programming is where the fibroids begin to manifest because of the way we think and believe and process and strategize. So if you are dealing with any womb issues, it's because and only because of your emotional state, the garbage that you've put in, that your body's mechanism is trying to capture. The tumors form into garbage bags internally, so that because your body's smart enough to say, gonna try to save you with these tumors. But the body's also thinking, well, we got to grow this tumor because it's in the womb, so it must be a baby. So you got couple of different dynamics at play here. Now, so what that means basically is imbalance. Your hormones are out of whack because of the hormones that we eat in the foods and the processing and the toxins that come from there. But also the thinking, the mindsets, because thoughts become things and manifest in the body later. And if you are dealing with anything, even obesity, thyroid issues, chronic migraines, fibromyalgia, just hate yourself, hate your life, whatever it might be, and that's not funny. Depression. I went through all of those things. That I went through the worst of having 9 fibroids, having 7 doctors tell me that my only option was a surgery, full hysterectomy, and this body has never been cut on. Why, ladies? Because I did the work. The work is healing your mind, healing your emotions, fixing that plate, learning how to eat clean, high vibrational foods that serve you and don't destroy you at the cellular level. And I've done all these thousands of hours of research in this doctoral program, so I've done the work and I want to help you. I said all of that to say, listen, sister, if you're tired, I feel you. If you're ready to get some rest in your body and reverse these symptoms, then let's talk. Click the link in the description. Join the, you can do the free boot camp. You can join the fix. You can get one-on-one coaching. You can schedule an appointment. We can talk. I want to help you start that process. It's easier than you think. It's easier than you think. It's easier than a surgery. Doctors got to make money. They don't understand how you feel. They know what they're trained to do, and that's treat your body, treat your symptoms with pills or knives. So listen, I'm Cindy Goodson, the Fibroid Alchemist, and I'm excited that we've been able to connect right here. If you're watching this video and you're watching it all the way to the end, then we got a connection. We're vibing already. So I love you all. I appreciate you watching. I want to see you on the next video. But in the meantime, come on into the community. Let's talk about some strategies to help you correct some things that got off balance along the way, and it's not your fault. But you got to take control. Can't leave the control in the hands of the doctors. They're on a different mission. They have protocols and training that they've done. That 2 options, pills or knives. Which one do you want? You want to heal naturally? Come on in. Come on in. I'm here for you. All right. Cindy G, and I'm out. I love y'all. Thanks for watching. Bye.